Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube Star Trek episode review. We are here talking about Strange New Worlds, Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2. We've got a double billing today. It wouldn't be Trek review here on NerdTube if I wasn't joined by my Trekkies in arms, Cousin Cheeto and Zam. How are you gentlemen this evening?
Fine, thank you. Looking forward to talking about some Star Trek, some up-to-date, brand new Star Trek for a change.
Yep,
True
it's
that.
been a little bit since we've had new Trek, so I know here in Casa de Mage we were very much looking forward to it, and I'm pretty sure you guys were too.
It's nice to see Pike's Peak again.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Any comments before we get to some initial
yeah,
thoughts?
yeah. I have something to say. Even though the Gorn were before the Borg, it is really good to see an enemy that is just as scary. I mean, they've obviously put a brand new twist on the Gorn, but it's really good to see a new Star Trek enemy, so to speak, that is just as dangerous, has a unique sort of style about it. You like the Borg was, when they first came on the scene, and some of the elements that I know we'll talk about were fascinating and fantastic. This is a really truly great, horrifying, dangerous Star Trek enemy, and I really loved it.
You
Yeah,
know, you guys talking about the Gorn, and I can wait Mage because I've got a lot to say about the Gorn. So I'll go after you guys have done your initial thing. I got some words.
got some words. Excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing them. Cheeto, your initial thoughts of the episode now that Jefferson's joined us?
Yeah, I know. I think this episode was pretty good. As Zan was saying, the great horror aspect of this episode was really good. I am a fan of the update of the Gorn. I mean, I am fully on board with Strange New Worlds, Enterprise, Discovery, all being a part of like a separate timeline, the First Contact timeline or some other timeline. So I mean, it just makes sense to update them. I mean, they could have just created a whole new lizard race, but then everybody would have been like, well, why don't they just use this as the Gorn? I like it's a catch-22 with Trek fans sometimes. But yeah, no, I thought the episode was pretty good. There was definitely some thrilling aspects to it. Um, I thought at one or two points that maybe they did swerve us on a couple characters, especially Ortega's in this episode, where they were like, maybe they purposefully put her in other scenes and later in the season, but then they're going to shock us with a death right off the bat with her because she's not safe ever. Like, I mean, yes, with some of the previews for the season, but we don't see her in TOS, so she is not safe. And neither is La'an and several others. So I'm very grateful that well, thank you, Daniel Vance. I'm very appreciative of the but anyway, so long story long, I actually enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty good, and I appreciate kind of Strange New Worlds branching out into a different race that we don't see a lot of, like the Gorn.
Yeah, not. Hopefully, they don't get beaten to the point of being a dead horse like the Borg ended up getting. All right, Jefferson, you've got some thoughts on the Borg? I mean, the Gorn?
Yes, I do. So just add the comment to what Cheetah just said. So I don't ascribe to the whole well, what's going to happen with La'an or oh my God,
Ortegas?
Yes, or Ortegas, because we didn't see them in TOS. I've never been one to go on to the why isn't someone that we saw in the 60s not now in a show that takes place before it, but we're in the 2020s. That's just a whole other thing. Like, I get what you're saying, yes, but you can't use that as I think as a guide of who lives or who dies. Just people transfer ships, all that stuff.
I'm not saying they had to die. I'm just saying that they're not safe. So
sure. You're okay. I hear what you're saying now. They're not safe.
They don't have to die.
They don't have to die. They don't have to live. It's either way. You're absolutely correct. And Okay, so I was thinking about this today. Usually, my gripe with the Gorn and how they're being depicted is Kirk is supposed to fight one of these guys one on one somewhere around the year 2266 or so. And here's the problem. Okay, the Gorn are great, sure, I get it. But Kirk is supposed to go one on one, hand to hand combat with one of these guys. And you're making it to where that reality is going to be so far skewed from believability. Now I get it. I get the 60s was its thing, whatever. But the problem is that they are modernizing and changing the Gorn so much that they are making it more and more and more and more incredulous that a human would be able to go toe to toe with the Gorn. Now, here's the thing: is I was thinking about that before we got on the show tonight. I said, all right, well, Enterprise, Discovery, Strange New Worlds, they're in the First Contact timeline, sure, but that does not change the Gorn enough to make it to where, even though they changed this drastically, that is still an excuse to use. The change in the timeline does not change a species that much to where, okay, let's say that Kirk, because of this timeline, there are differences. Let's just say that Kirk never fights the Gorn. We don't get the events of Arena the way they happened. Still, that's you're relying on a whole lot of goodwill from the viewer to excuse something that you change way too much when you are kind of you're tethered to how do you reconcile this with the fact that a human fights
Jefferson,
one-on-one.
Jefferson, I got just a little rebuttal here because
Okay, let's hear it.
Because these changes of this is also part of the Discovery timeline as well, when Discovery first came along, and that just brought in a whole different sort of wave to Star Trek with the way the Klingons were depicted, when we were having some sort of idea of how they were, ridgeless from Enterprise, and then next we got these guys, and which is only a few years from TOS and all of that, and then slowly but surely, as we've gone along with Discovery as well as Strange New World, there are so many indifferences, not just the Gorn. There's like an abundance. We've got a buddy Sun in as part of the team. There's so many things that this thing with the Gorn, it's secondary now, because there's other things we need to go on about prior to all of this. That how does this even relate to the TOS timeline? So I'm so far beyond that now. I can't, I'm just enjoying the ride and just appreciating all this stuff, and maybe like a reboot, so to speak, semi reboot, or as Cheeto says, alternative timeline. That regardless of Kirk fighting the Gorn, which is always the thing. There's so many other things that we need to even focus on. That's just one of the Gorn and Kirk. It's just one of many things, since Discovery and since Discovery and Strange New Worlds came on the scene.
I got it. I got it to make everybody happy. All right. The Gorn in the arena was just like hibernation lagged. Like it was after this long hibernation. He had just woken up. He's very sluggish. You know how bears are when they first wake up from hibernation? They're very sluggish. That's it. That's it right there. He hasn't even really stretched his back out with that, big menacing hunch. He's still kind of compressed from being in his alcove and all smushed up. I got it. There we go. I mean, saved Star Trek, everybody. Saved Star Trek.
You've reconciled all the differences among various branches of the fandom, and everybody can get along now with this one Discovery.
Like my man here, I am the emissary of the Trek fandom.
All right. So we've got some initial thoughts. Let's go ahead and start going into a very brief play-by-play. I'm going to get through these. So just stop me when you get to a point that you find is particularly interesting.
I actually do want
in
to just
episode
one thing that
One
Daniel
more
Van said.
thing?
He said, "I assume that the Gorn have subspecies based on the host." That is a very interesting idea. You know what I mean? Like,
That is.
Why do they have to go alien with it?
and I agree.
I agree.
It's an
Why just
interesting
go
idea,
alien?
but you're right. It is a clear cut, but it's not like. But that's honestly how like some like a symbiotic incubation happens. That's nature. You know what I mean? Like that. You know.
I just it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they're going that route with the Gorn. It is very much an unneeded thing that I think just does nothing but makes their lives more difficult than it needs to be.
Well, and I think Daniel Vance is
there
just...
are files. No, there's no files. Yeah, there are files. No, the files are a hoax. It's the more you talk, the worse you make it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think Daniel Vance is just using like a little bit of headcanon, but I mean, still,
Right.
like I think it'd be interesting, but you know, because that is a part of nature when things like do, you know, like inseminal. I don't remember what the technical term is of it, like what it is, but I mean,
Insemination.
and yeah, like no, seminal like incubation, like where you use a foreign. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Mage, go ahead. It's just an interesting idea, in my opinion, if they were to explore that. But I do agree it would be clearly ripping off Aliens for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. So, we started off with a recap of season 1 or season 2, episode 10 of the away team getting recaptured. Patel, full of Gorn hatchlings, is setting up this exciting status quo for today's episode. We get a cold open on the bridge where Pike and the bridge crew brainstorm ideas, eventually landing on a plan to place a dud torpedo on a tracker. That's what that says, tracker. After ramming through the enemy destroyer shields, they do so and get the fudge on. We roll the credits.
Just before you move on, I was kind of like, I know we got this in kind of the preview, but I'm still kind of like perturbed by the whole like Pike being just like being shell shocked and then snapping out of it and then being able to do so. Like, I think that was kind of like their not retcon, but like I think they might have thought about going that in a different way. And when him freezing on the bridge didn't land well when it premiered, I think they just pivoted very quickly when they were redoing probably this episode. I don't know if they filmed him at the same time. Maybe that's how they intended it. But I was like, him freezing like that and I'm like, no, I don't know. Like him freezing like that just didn't sit well with me. Yeah, it really didn't.
I remember it bothering me too.
Okay, so you guys are the second and third person that I've heard say that, and one of them was back. When it first premiered, a guy I knew, another fan, was in the military and said that just doesn't happen. And
I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it was out of Pike's character, in my opinion.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little more forgiving, but I don't besmirch him a moment or two of quiet, of not reacting or responding, to let your brain go. I mean, is it really impossible?
That was not letting his brain go. That was bewilderment and that was shock. That was not.
Okay.
He lost.
Does that never happen?
There's a difference between being quiet. Like he did it. Like after he snapped back out of it, he did what I thought he should have done initially. He's just like, all right, we need options. You know what I mean? Like the bewilderment and the.
I guess it just didn't bother me all that much.
It didn't bother you. That's cool. I mean, just like the Gorn update doesn't bother us, right. I get it, I mean,
for me, like, it was just like, this is a very unique enemy, and he's, like, the idea is that he's having to come up with, or like to deal with something like this. He can't think of it straight away. So,
yeah, but it was panic.
Yeah, of course it's panic. You know, of course,
No shit.
of course it's panic, dude. Hello, none of us. Yeah, like this is like one of the most dangerous things they've ever come across. So I could totally understand it, and it's
No,
just him.
they've come across Paramount Plus before, so that is the most dangerous. Paramount CBS is the most dangerous thing Star Trek has ever come across. Let me be,
I mean, you're coming across an enemy that wants to eat you. You know, like it's like
True.
yeah, like that's just another level. You know,
Wanting to kill you is one thing. Wanting to eat you is something different.
Yeah, impregnate you and infest you and all of that. Like it's make you fuel for your ship. Like Jesus Christ, like that's just a great. That's an enemy. Like that's a very unique enemy. Yeah.
Interesting comment, Brent. Yeah.
Knowing his own future, Pike had become complacent. It's the first time he realized that he might make it to that point, or might not. Realize that he
Probably
might
might
get to that
not
point
make
in
it
time.
Yeah.
But others he loved might not. So, okay. I mean that's fine, but
No. He would make it to that point.
And
He's
others
going to
might.
make it to wood, but the others, he doesn't know what's going to happen to everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we made a correction that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good point, Daniel Vance.
Absolutely, always coming in with alternate ways of looking at things.
Mm-hmm.
So at the rendezvous point, Admiral April brings over for a debrief. In sickbay, Chapel is prepping the Captain Patel for stasis, but she's allergic to the chemical and notifies Pike, and then Spock volunteers to go down to sickbay to help. April and Pike argue over whether or not to confront the Gorn, Pike arguing that they're being seen as prey. Eventually convinces the Admiral to officially order him to the demarcation line to observe, but unofficially to find a way to punch back. Down in engineering, Scotty is working with Pelia, and she kind of chides him for not recording his work as he did it, as he now cannot remember exactly how to his own machine works. Sam?
I just want to say regarding Scotty, like we are definitely going to be getting a coming of age of Scotty, like the Scotty we know to the Scotty who we're currently getting, because the Scotty we're currently getting is not the Scotty we know, because this guy doesn't even want to fucking drink. Like Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think that's going to be the journey this season, is him getting to drink. You know what I mean?
Right.
And him, like from I think he's going to learn a few things from Hocus Pocus. That's for sure. You know, when it comes to being a bullshitter with regarding how quickly things can be done and all of that sort of stuff. But I do feel like we're going to be getting a journey from Scotty, a character development. So I look forward to that.
Absolutely, he's got a little ways to go right now. Inside the Gorn ship. This away team are in pods. Lon escapes first, and she kind of steadies herself and then frees Dr. Mbanga, saying you always to free the doctor first.
Yes.
Then gets Sam Kirk out and Ortegas, who's got a badly hurt and mangled hand. The pods are actually digestion chambers, it seems. They discuss how to free the abducted colonists, and Lon struggles with her Gorn PTSD. Then they find weapons in the waste store of this, funnily enough.
Yeah.
They still work.
Digested. Yeah. Covered in that sort of xenomorph ooze, I may add,
But they still power on.
Yeah.
Down in engineering again, Pelia tricks Scotty.
I just want to quickly add that I like the fact that they got out just in time, because they were already starting to get digested by the ship, which is crazy thinking about it. But yeah.
Also, that begs the question, though: if they were already getting digested, then what about the colonists? Like they say they saved hundreds of colonists, but if they just got there, they were being digested. What was going on with the other ones? I mean, yeah, maybe they can regrow some limbs, but
Ortega's lost some fingers. Remember that,
Yeah, already. That's what I mean. I figure most of that, at least the colonists, because it had been several hours since like the Gorn attack happened and the Enterprise, the whole incident happened? Like it had been several hours at the very least, maybe even several days.
It's just what they were just doing what the best they could do with, and hoping that things would turn out okay, I guess. Yeah, that's all I can think of.
No, definitely a little bit of a hole, maybe. So yeah, Pelia tricks Scotty into finding a way to fuse his device that he made down on the surface into the Enterprise's systems by acting like they've reached or in space and are under attack. This understandably upsets young Scotty. They kind of argue. She calls him insubordinate. Then he hits her with a "You're not my CO," pointing out that his commanding officer went
You're
down.
not my mom.
You're not. That's exactly what I thought of, Big J. And yeah, he asks if he can be dismissed, and he heads out. On the bridge, tensions are high as they enter the Gorn space with Scotty's cloak active. It works, and they miraculously never get hit by one of these Gorn ships.
It doesn't have windows on it.
Yeah, I thought that was odd. Like every ship we've ever seen has at least windows on it. I'm kind of like, that was right there. The logistics of that. I'm kind of like, let's hope they don't have windows. I'm like, oh, Shirley said, oh nope, they don't have windows. Nope, no windows.
Super convenient. Now
Yeah.
I understand that there's certainly it could be spacefaring races out there that I mean, there's no such thing as windows. It's not even something that developed on their planet, or they have no need for it on ships as a aesthetic. But the thing is, I felt that all of the stuff that they were coming up with in how to deal with the Gorn was so far-fetched. You're taking this advanced alien species, you're souping up the Gorn. You're making them to where they're just equal to, or maybe even better than the Federation. But then you're telling me, okay, but their ships have no windows, and you can make the sun really bright and make yourself look like a solar flare, and they'll fall asleep.
Yeah, and these people developed warp technology.
Right. It's like, what do you want? Do you want to make them menacing and threatening, but with a stupid kryptonite? I don't understand that. Why make something so overpowered and then find a way to explain it back down? It's kind of like Megatron's fusion cannon. Nothing could survive a direct hit by the thing, blow up all kinds of stuff, but he never uses it. You hardly ever see him score any shot with that. Same with Superman. You got this overpowered being who's weak to kryptonite, a substance that appears to be in abundance on Earth that came from a planet how many light years away that exploded, but let's just conveniently always have it on hand. It's you paint yourself in a corner, but then you want the fans to accept the silly writing to get yourself out of something you created.
And again, about the Gorn, I do agree. Where I'm like, okay, you are making them more menacing, but then they're also, like no windows. They developed warp drive, but no windows. They developed, they have this silly hibernation MacGuffin. That is very far fetched. That's probably my only issue with the Gorn is like it's very Phantom Menace-y, where they do this one thing and then all of a sudden it puts them all into sleep mode. You blow up the control ship and all of them go into sleep mode.
Yes.
Roger.
Let's just send a whole bunch of ships for a trade embargo that's very, very important to this plot, but then suddenly we're just going to leave one behind.
Yep.
Yeah, I found it a bit I found the where their planet was located, like they were. Are they like is it 8472, the name of that species?
8472, yeah.
The ones from fluidic space.
I did like from like a different dimension almost, because like
fluidic space.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering what the hell was going on.
You mean in today's episode, Sam?
Yeah, well, but they went. They were like in between those two sort of stars, or
it's a natural hologram created by the phenomenon there between the stars. They had a throwaway line Uhura Una spit out really, really fast in one of the
Yeah,
scenes.
was that the Gorn homeworld then? Like the Gorn home system? Like you're right. They blew right by it, and I was
They
kind of
blew
just
through a
like,
ton of stuff in this episode. I had to pause so many times to take my notes.
yeah, I was like, okay, like,
Yeah, I know how that feels.
that's
Yeah.
why I don't take notes. I just watch the episode while we're reviewing.
Okay. Sick bay. Chapel and Spock are working to remove the Gorn young without having to kill Patel, whose body is now dependent on it. The simulations they run they kind of discuss their relationship. She says to not wait on him while she's in her fellowship.
I got thoughts on her in the next episode, but I'm gonna wait for that episode.
I do too.
Good evening, Rick B. It didn't suck. Oh my god. Look, I'm glad that they kind of just got that little bit of maybe uncomfortable air out the way, and then they got down to work. So I think we're expecting them to say something to each other. You know, we're talking about Spock and Chapel here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad they just got that comfortable, and then they're professional enough to deal with the matter at hand without letting whatever issues they have with each other get in the way, because they need to save a life. So get out the way. We all know it's there as viewers. Get out of the way and now concentrate on saving the person.
Spock, get out the way. Yeah. Get out the way, Spock. Get out the way.
Rick B.
Always.
Rick B.
It sucks, but you still watch it. You watch it, you consume it, and you never stop watching it.
So the simulation has 100% fatality rate, so they're going to come up with this idea to try to infuse her with Illyrian blood from number one. The away team kind of heads towards an unguarded ship to steal the transporter codes, and Uhura finds a pattern of the Gorn activity where the hibernation that we were alluding to earlier happens. The Gorn are likely, however, about to enter a period of prolonged activity, kind of a prelude for a full-scale invasion. We're back to sickbay, where the simulation of the Illyrian blood plan shows an 86% fatality rate, but they're going to have to try to get those odds up.
I don't know why they didn't just try to go find the Botany Bay, get some of Khan's blood, and then use it on her. I mean, come on, like it's simple. I'm alluding to Into Darkness. I have all the blank faces. I'm like, well, except for Jeff.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
the super blood that saves the day.
Right.
Oh,
and I mean,
we get some super blood.
Yeah, I mean, but at least it's established that she has like a genetically enhanced, like she's genetically enhanced. It's not like it's like, oh, we can cure death. Like, no, this is just kind of like a boost.
Right.
Like, so I mean, it's not as absurd as Into Darkness with that, but still, it's just like,
yeah, I see what you're saying. For real.
Triple blood.
Welcome to the stream, Exploration. Thanks for joining us. On the bridge, we arrive at the radiation zone of the bipolar stars, where Mitchell refuses to leave her station. Me and Scarlett were kind of impressed by her resolve right then.
So you want to know my issue with that, though? It's like I would have relieved her, because if she's like that, then the problem is that how is she going to perform at peak efficiency? You're not helping anybody at that point. Like I'm sorry, like you've got plenty of other people, and I get it. She's probably one of the best. What is she weapons or is she navigation? She's not navigation.
Navigation.
She's navigation.
Well,
okay.
But she's still a pilot.
Navigation.
But
their consoles do whatever they want them to do.
I don't know, like she's obviously fatigued and she can't help but show it, but at the same time, I'm going to take a break while the fucking Gorn are trying to kill us. Yeah, like it's just.
Yeah, like I'm going to get some sleep.
Yeah, like come on, like this. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be just fiddling my thumbs. I need to be doing something, so I'd rather do this, even if I'm tired and I'm showing I'm tired. I'd rather still be doing this. So I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I just
as a
nap.
as a commanding officer, I would feel that I'm putting my crew in jeopardy because the person at the con has been what did they say she's been on it for like 16 hours or something like that, or I don't
That's
remember how
nothing.
long. Yeah, like again, I don't know. I mean, even if you just tell her to go get a coffee, really quick, or something, like grab a coffee, come back,
The thing with Star Trek though, or Starfleet, is that they're like a hybrid of military and explorers, and this is the military side now, in my opinion, that's playing its part with her having to endure and just keep going and having to deal with the situation.
Again, I mean, that's just a little thing that I was like, ooh, come on, man, like that's. I'm like, come on, Pike. But I mean, you're right. I mean, yeah.
Pike doesn't go around relieving people over things like that. He lets a lot of back and forth happen on his bridge. It seems like, at least this Pike we get in Strange New Worlds.
And I get that, but at the same time, I'd be like, no, I need everybody at peak efficiency when they're at their station. Like. So again, just a nitpick. It's not like it didn't ruin the episode for me. Anyway, sorry. Continue, Mage.
Okay, we're at. This is the point where the Gorn ship cuts power and kind of disappears through the gravitational lensing. Where Zam was kind of talking about earlier. Back in sickbay, Patel codes, and they have to prep for the surgery without getting the success rate up any. Back on the bridge, they can't contact Starfleet because the Gorn fleet emerges from the star system, and they're kind of forced to leave a long-range beacon to keep contact with the away team's signal. And then they have to hightail it the other direction to try to warn Starfleet. We cut back to sickbay.
I think they put all that convoluted shit in there because people will be going, why aren't they just telling Starfleet? Well, this is why, because they can't. So...
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they established that early on. They said that what's going to get in the way of our heroes doing what they need to do? Radiation. Like, that's one of the, I mean, the Briar Patch. Oh, we got to get outside the Briar Patch in order to send a message to Starfleet about what's going on in Baku or on Baku. The radiation's the answer to everything. There's too much radiation between these two stars, so we have to get far enough away from it so we can reach the Federation. That's always the thing.
It's an actual real concern for space travel, though, so it's one of the most realistic things they can actually use as one of their contrivances.
And again, I don't hate the fact that they use it, because you're right. It's kind of like the incubation thing. It's like it makes sense. Like biomechanically, it makes sense.
Okay. So we're in sickbay. Chapel and Spock administer a serum, and we cut back. We've turned around for nothing because the Enterprise can't warn Starfleet in time. Pike comes up with the idea to turn the ship into a sun, basically, to create the stellar event necessary to put the Gorn back to sleep. Scotty gives it 1,000 to 1 odds, and Pike just says he's okay with those odds.
Yeah.
We cut back to sickbay. Spock stops Chapel from doing the surgery at the last moment, and they change their plan. They're going to treat and feed the Gorn hatchlings inside of her and continue to treat her with the Illyrian blood instead of doing an extraction. On the Gorn ship, Mbenga's coaching Lon, who's still kind of suffering from that PTSD from her experience as a child with the Gorn. They find their transport codes, though, and that they need to save the colonists. The Gorn arrive, so everybody starts blasting, and I was like, there's Cheeto's pew-pews. Heck yeah. Hurt gets knocked down by the Gorn. Ortegas gets impaled by one's claws.
I thought that was it.
I thought she was done. Yeah,
I thought we must have all thought that she was dead. Like she got 2 Gorn claws right in her fucking abdomen. That is death, as far as I'm concerned.
2? I thought it was just the 1. Was it 2?
I think it looked like she got.
I think it was just the 1. He was just holding her up by one hand.
Sorry, I apologize. If it was 1, fair enough, but it looked like a death sentence.
I know, and I
like,
agree with you. That's why I said, like, with her, it's like when that happened, I was like, that's why I said they might have been psyching us out, like putting her like maybe digitally in print or doing alternate footage with her in like things for later on in the season, and then like they bait and switched us and then kill her off in the first episode. But again, I'm with Jefferson though. You don't have to kill everybody, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know, she's not safe. That might be it. And
Right.
remember, she
Yeah,
flies the ship.
yeah.
And especially when you've given yourself the alternate timeline excuse that you can hold in your bag for later.
Yes. So back on the bridge, they begin the process of creating the stellar phenomenon. We're going to cut back to the away team who limps into the ship. Ortegas insists they put her into the pilot's seat. They begin some invasive maneuvers, but she's bleeding out on the console. We're going to cut back to the bridge where the Gorn are fast approaching the Enterprise. When they get a signal in from Lon, she sends the codes. They hold the stellar matter as long as possible on the Enterprise, and then Gorn head home. Uhura gets a secure channel from April, and Pike tells him to ignore that last transmission, that he found a way to punch back. Ortegas passes out after just this her "I fly the ship" catchphrase, and I
It's
thought
gotta be me.
I thought she was gone when she passed out right there.
I know she's a great pilot, but I would have given it to Sam or Sun to fucking fly that ship.
Somebody that's not actively bleeding out.
Yeah, I don't
could
care how
lose
good
consciousness at any moment. Like she had to be in shock.
Again, it's one of those things where it's like La'an is technically like in charge of that crew because I mean she's the senior officer there. It's like I don't know. I might have told her, been like, no, look, we need somebody who's at least able to get us out of here in one piece. Like, and granted, she did because the plot, but still, like, again, that's another thing where I'm just like,
So we cut to Spock and Chapel leaving the OR. Chapel thanks Spock. They have kind of a teary-eyed goodbye that gets interrupted by Pike, who's come to check on Patel. Daniel Vance's pole, which falls asleep faster in blue light. Zam or a Gorn? We need a third option.
Listen, I love that. Zam, did you wear that shirt on purpose? I just love how that movie's about big lizards, and this episode was about big lizards.
I didn't. I mean, I wore this shirt on purpose, but not for that reason. But I'm glad you correlated it because it's a good correlation. But look, it's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. Give me a break, Daniel. Jesus Christ. I'm doing my best here.
He is. I'm trying to bore him to death and put him to sleep, and he's like, "Get on with it."
Yeah, you're not doing any of the such. But
Okay.
thank you. But you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Self-deprecating humor.
Good job.
Good job for all. The best. Okay.
He is
Pike's
the 2022 NerdTube Golden Glasses Host of the Year. Actually, you've got 3 hosts of the year
exactly.
Right now. 2022, 2023, and 2024.
Yeah. I actually thought don't get me wrong, whether they kill her off or not, if you're going to do something, if you're going to have that moment with her, I think that should have been her death, personally. Yeah. But fair enough. She lives to fight another day. Fair enough.
Number 1 calls. The away team's being treated in overflow. Ortegas is critical but stable, having made it. Pike begins to pray, but Patel wakes up pretty quickly into that. Asks how she's alive. He kind of says, "I'll explain later."
I'm sure Zam was when he started to pray. Zam's like, "Nope, I'm out," and then he stopped. So
that was a bit. That was Zam's a very unusual moment.
Zam's like, "Damn it, we lost another atheist! God damn it!"
I thought that was the first time I've seen somebody pray in Star Trek. I think.
I mean, well, depending on, like you talk about the Bajorans, like they prayed a lot, but I mean that's to a fictional god. Like, okay, that is to a made up god for that universe, you know, that sci-fi. But you know, I don't want to sit there and say God doesn't exist because we don't know. So I don't want to sit there and accuse any Christian's God of not being real.
I think that was a good thing to, because I know up until this point, Star Trek had always gone the distance to do what they could to avoid depicting a Starfleet crew, especially the human-based crew, of any kind of religious practices.
Secular is what you're looking for.
Right. Secular.
Yeah.
You know, they were able to successfully navigate away from any mention of holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, the Seven Generations notwithstanding. You know, it just always seemed like this depiction of the future, but let's not touch the you know, the religious part, the secular part, because that might be a bridge too far. But I'm glad finally that there was they were I guess brave enough to go ahead and depict a scene like this where that kind of thing is still done in the future, which ties in with another thing that's nice to see in the future, but we get into that in the next episode.
Well, I mean, it's religion in and of itself is not bad. It's just when you take religion and you try to impose it on other people, you know what I mean? Like, so
right,
that, you know, like them having religious beliefs or even, you know, religious inklings is not a bad thing. It just, you know, it's a part of, but unfortunately it's a part of human heritage, of the like very deep rooted religion. And like, I don't know if this was something maybe her, I can't remember if this is her thing, like where she's a little bit more religious, and then Pike was like, because I don't remember, truth be told. Like
for me,
like,
Pike's religious.
Pike is religious. Okay,
so he's established in Discovery.
Okay, it's been so long since I've seen season 2 of Discovery. But he's just like, fine, I'll do it. You know, like it's good to, because that just shows like heritage of a culture. You know what I mean? Like. Clearly, like in Star Trek, it's the spiritual religion, faith, all that stuff is less and less and less. It's more of a nuance than it is like a hardcore fact, like for some of these people. You know what I mean? So,
if I could put my spin on it, like there are people who claim to be religious, but you know, the only time they're remotely religious is maybe they go to a bar mitzvah or they go to church or they go to the mosque for a particular occasion. You know, but they're not, you know, they don't pray every Sunday and all of that shit. You know, they don't do any of that. So for me, what it is regarding Pike was, okay, my missus is almost dead here. I'm gonna do anything I can to make sure that she's alive. So he even resorted to pray, and that's how I saw it.
And that's what I mean. It's like it just shows that is a part of the culture. Even like. I have like something on the tip of my tongue to describe it, and I just can't. So I'm just gonna I'll let it go. But
quick comment from Trek here. As an artist, I'm an artist as well, by the way, but I'm also an atheist. It didn't bother me. It conveyed how desperate. And yeah, exactly as I said. Yeah, exactly. And you know, anything you can, anything to, you know, to make sure that his love is alive. Tired of streaming to 0. Let's change that. No, let's not. Let's stick with 0. All right, let's continue.
Yep. We're wrapping this episode up with a touching scene between the two of them as they touch foreheads. It cuts to the twin stars, and the Enterprise returns home. Roll credits. That was
what it was. Just that, like, as far as they're concerned, okay, the Gorn are not dealt with, but you know, they will return, but maybe not in this particular generation, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe when Kirk becomes the head of the Enterprise in like 15 years time or something like that. Depends on how long the hibernation process is.
Okay, so we will hold marks until we get through or do we want to mark this one now while we're thinking about it and it's fresh on our head?
Let's just mark it really quick. We don't have to do final thoughts or anything, but let's just mark it really quick, and I'll put the poll up. I'm putting the poll up. We're doing the polls again.
Nice poll. Yay, poll. All right.
Raise that poll, baby.
Yeah, buddy. I raise everybody's pole. Zam.
That you do,
Zam.
Mage. That you do.
We'll start with you for a mark. What'd you give this episode?
It was a welcome return to Star Trek. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. Jefferson?
You know, I want to give it an 8. I do. I really do. I really like Strange New Worlds. I'm just the way they're doing the Gorn. They're trying to do too much and dumb it down and scale it back at the same time. They're doing Marvel post Endgame where they want goodwill from everyone and just accept anything they do and put up there. It's a 7 out of 10 for me. You know, you're asking for too much on the Gorn.
Solid
So
C.
yeah.
Solid C from Jefferson. Cheeto?
I mean, I'm giving it a solid C as well, or a solid 7 as well. I mean, I don't think I had as much of an issue with this episode. Well, no, I think really me and Jefferson just differ on the Gorn thing. Like, I have an issue with certain things, and I think you have an issue with with kind of like the canon of it and stuff like that, which is fine. As I said, you can whatever gets stuck in your craw is good for you. What gets stuck in, trust me, there's plenty of stuff that gets stuck in my craw that really is absurd and eye roll inducing. But yeah, I give it a 7. I think it was a good start for the season. I think there was one or two little nitpicky things in this episode that really kind of knocked it down a couple pegs. But honest and truly, I mean, I think it was a solid start. Not an
If I could
exceptional
just if I could just expand on my 8, but I just gave it an 8 without explaining it. Like I said before, I really liked seeing a Star Trek villain that scared the fuck out of me, and I felt really intimidated by it. That was great. I did find that there was a lot of convoluted issues and some things were convenient, but Star Trek has always been like that. There's always an idea, or, oh, you said something, and that's giving me this fucking amazing idea to resolve something. You know what I mean? All that shit. You know, that's always been about Star Trek to a degree. I'm kind of used to it, but this was a welcome return to a show that I have been hit and miss with, but I thought this first episode wasn't too bad, and so I'm giving it the benefit of that, regardless of some of my issues, which is why I give it an 8.
You know what it is? Here's what it is. I just thought of it. It's one of those issues Star Trek has where they have a warp-capable species to deal with in their story that makes you question how in the hell were they able to achieve the technology to be a warp-capable species?
Tamarians.
You know, it's like how there is no way that you got to this point. And I won't get into that. That can be a conversation for another day. There are several species in Star Trek that have been depicted as warp capable, but they are warp capable, but the way they're depicted makes you question how the hell they were ever able to get to that point.
Well, they're very similar.
Podcast topic right
they're
there.
Very, even though I said that, like, it's good to see them an enemy as dangerous as the Borg. They're very similar to 847 too. You know, they've got this sort of organic engineering sort of vibe about them, and so that's how I see them. And I think it'd be so long-winded to even try to make a fictional explanation regarding how they create their technology and all of that bollocks.
Let's write that down as a podcast episode idea.
Yeah.
Put it on the list.
You just described the pack leads? Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Make it go. I'm gonna make it go by giving this episode an 8 as well. Initially I liked it a little bit more, but problems kind of got exposed on a rewatch and while discussing it with you guys. Kind of small nitpicks, but nothing to blow it up for me. So I'm gonna give it an 8. All right, so we'll move on to Strange New World Season 3, Episode 2, Wedding Bell Blues. This one is a little bit out there at first, but then it's just like they've done this sort of thing before, and I'm okay with it. What are your overall thoughts of this one, Cheeto?
Overall thoughts, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I've got thoughts on Chapel. Listen, Spock, man, my dude, my brother, man, let the woman go. She is toxic. I'm sorry. Like, Nurse
He doesn't
Chapel.
care what her
Listen.
actions do to other people.
Exactly. Like, Nurse Chapel is toxic. Like, let her be toxic. That's fine. She's allowed to be toxic. But Spock, my brother, man, she is dragging you down, man. Let her be her. You need to be you. Because oh God. Anyway, okay. So, but I mean, that's my thoughts on Nurse Chapel, though. It's not that I don't like the way she's being written or even the way she's being acted. I think that's fine. I just, they're really messing with the Spock Chapel thing, and I thought it was just going to be like a will they, won't they thing, and they've gone way beyond that. And I don't know. I mean, this is your typical like possible alternate reality episode, or everyone's being controlled by a non-corporeal being episode, and not that I think that it's bad, because it's always in Trek and it's always something, but this was just an excuse to build the tension between Chapel and Spock, and they really need to let it go. And again, I have no problem with the acting. Like, I think Chapel, I think Spock, I think even the guy who plays what's his name? What's the doctor's name? The archaeologist doctor's name? The guy that's from TOS.
Oh, Roger Corby.
Oh,
Corby.
Yeah, Dr.
Yeah.
Corby.
Corby.
The
So
Marvel cameo.
yeah, we catch the Marvel cameo. I honestly don't remember. Don't think so. I don't know.
The Marvel cameo. Interesting.
Give us a
yeah,
hint, because I think I
There was a cameo I did catch, but not that one.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
caught the other one. But yeah, I this is just some more like tension between Chapel and Spock that we really don't need at this point.
Yeah, you're right. Now I am glad that they're not turning the whole show into a How I Met Your Mother and having it be, too much time based on a will they, won't they. We don't need that. But on the flip side, I think they're going a bit extra in something that was inferred to have happened, but it was what am I trying to say? They're about 10 years away from when they're on under Kirk's command, right? Or is
I think it's less than that now. I think it's like 7
6 or
years.
7?
I think it was 10 years when Strange New Worlds started.
That's right. So yeah, so let's say 5-6 years away from being under Kirk's command, where they made references or alluded to there was something between Spock and Chapel in a past. There's a couple things I think that they're doing that maybe too soon. Like I don't know. It almost seems like, okay, so in 6 years from now, they're still going to be acting like there was a thing that they had and regret or pining or whatnot. I don't know. Just something about that. Just it seems a little off. How much they're making of it, and now with how far along it is before it's supposed to be hinted at. But again, it could just be a whole nothing burger.
Jefferson, ever since that episode where they went to see Sung's ancestry back, I think in Canada, it was like was it last season? Like, everything's just changed now. Like the whole
everything's been changed since Enterprise. I mean, this just confirmed it.
Point. Yeah, good point. Exactly. So far as I'm concerned, like, the future is what you make it. Doc Brown, Back to the Future Part 3.
Well, right. I get that. And what really helps, all of this is if you've seen The Flash, the way Michael Keaton, Bruce Wayne character, how he described time travel, that his metaphor was putting cooked spaghetti on in a bowl. You have inevitable crosses and lineups of timelines where there are events that like always happen, but you still have your differences and variations. I think I'm messing up the explanation a little bit, but it's just like there are things that are just going to happen no matter what, but you also can have a past and a future that is different.
Yeah, I get you. I know exactly what you're trying to say.
No, I just want spaghetti.
Yeah, right now with spaghetti. I had some early for dinner.
We had spaghetti last night. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh,
That's my opinion.
okay. I thought when you said Marvel cameo, I thought you meant like a person cameo, not a digital asset cameo.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they're saying Disney reusing those digital assets. That Star Trek is not anywhere near Disney. Like that's Paramount CBS, and that is no. Like, I mean, are you inferring that they sold the digital assets? Like, I'm sure he's joking, but still, like, let's dig into this like a bean burrito, okay?
Absolutely.
How do you dig into a bean burrito?
Mm-hmm.
With a fork?
It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One
spoon
bite at a time.
There you go. So in this one, we start after a time skip.
Give my opinion on the episode.
You didn't get in there. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Go for it.
It was obviously you needed to change your pace after the hecticness of the previous episode, so they went down this route, kind of comedy-ish to a degree, mystery episode as well, wondering what the hell's going on. But it was a bit like a Columbo mystery where you kind of know who the culprit is. It's just about how our people get there to resolve it. So we're following it along. I like the fact that this special guest character was the person who knew that everything was initially changed in the first place. And then obviously he was able to get Spock on board.
Did they explain why he knew though? Like I know they talked about the emotion and stuff, but like why was he not affected by Q or Trelane, Q, whatever you want to call him?
The reason he gave was because it had to do with his intellect, because he's so smart.
I don't believe that.
He's so smart and so intelligent that the manipulation of this godly being was not able to get through the shielding of his brain, which, yeah, you're right, bullshit.
Typical white dude just thinking they're above,
He's stroking his own ego, obviously, but regardless, I overall, just my opinion of the episode, it was interesting. I'll give it that. But the one thing it did remind me of was, you guys ever watched Futurama?
I have not.
There's an episode of Futurama which is just like this when it came to the end of this episode, and I'll talk about that a little bit later.
I think I know the one you mean. I'm not going to steal your thunder. I want to hear you explain it later.
No, let me quickly explain it now. Where, like the elderly being comes along and stops the younger being from like causing the havoc that it's causing, and then everyone else realizes, oh, all this time we all thought we were dealing with some, elderly high intelligence, but it was just a child. And then the elderly being says, no, he's not a child. This is my 35-year-old son who's still living in my basement. Yeah, that one.
Hey, you know what I thought of when we did that? I thought of Final Fantasy VII with Red 13. Oh, he's 15 or 16, but that's 48. Or no, I'm sorry, he's 48, but that's 15 or 16 in his tribe. Like, okay,
yeah, it was exactly that
for no reason.
It was exactly that what happened in that episode of Futurama. I mean, that whole bit was just crazy.
And so that episode in and of itself was an entire Trek tribute episode.
Yeah.
Where no fan has gone before. Love it.
Yeah.
Love that episode. Well, that's right, Trek exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're kind of all over the place with it. This one, the basic premise is Chapel brings home Dr. Roger Corby, who we will later see in TOS, later chronologically see in TOS. And they're an item after only 3 months of the fellowship. But then he wakes up the next day after being slipped a Mickey by a bartender that's actually a non-corporeal being that turns out to be Q Jr., aka Trelane. And they have to try to make everybody figure out that the truth that they are not together.
By the way, they're confirming another fan theory that Trelane is actually a Q. If that is Trelane, I don't. Did he actually call himself Trelane in this episode?
He didn't, but
I mean,
the
I
look
know
is
he was dressed the
almost the
same. He kind of
same.
looked
Okay.
the same, but I'm like,
The hair color's off.
I'll tell you what I was getting. For me, this person was the DC character Mixel Pickleswick, or how you
I
pronounce
mean, that's
it?
Q basically. Jefferson, I think
Yeah.
you're muted. I don't know if we can hear you. Say
Oh,
something.
sorry, I muted myself. Mixel or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be Trelawney. I mean, yeah, hair colors always change in 6 years. I mean, I was not always bald, but now the implication that he was Trelawney was not as strong as the implication that he was definitely a Q, in that he was Q's son. Hold on a minute.
They called him.
Hold
I
on a minute.
mean, Q called him Junior.
Yes, but the thing is, though, the voice of Q, the father, was John Delancey.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem you're creating there is never mind. I'm not even.
Did the
Now
Mixel
he's
did he ever snap his
let's see.
fingers?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Trelane did. Yeah, several
I
times.
should-
No,
I should have
I'm
known
talking
it was
about what
him
about
when
his son
But
in Voyager? Was that his second son?
No, I
His
think it's
first
I think
son?
it's the same person. I just think they're playing with time travel, like because
Right.
the Qs can do whatever whenever they want. They can.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, is Trelane then Q's son technically? Is
Right.
again? Is that that? We in our
8,000 years
TOS
old.
watch along, we have not gotten to that episode yet with Trelane in it. I think it's coming up. I think it's the beginning of the first season, right? I think maybe. I don't remember, but
But this kid's 8,000 years old.
Right.
I mean, I know time travel plays a part as well. So, like, yeah.
They're fucking around with a lot of stuff.
that's
That's
okay.
all I'm saying.
I'm okay with it only because who cares?
Q-
Like when it comes to
Q's
the
different voice.
old
Colby
dudes on
shows
the
up-
internet care about it, Cheeto. Don't you know that?
So when Corby shows up with Christine Flower, they appear to be in a Bajoran orbit. How the fuck do you know these?
No, I thought that exact same thing. I thought that exact same thing when they brought the flowers out, and I was like, "Is that a Bajoran orb? Like, what? You guys didn't see that?
I saw
No,
it. It looked kind of.
It just looked white because weren't they normally like a tannish gray or something like that? Or
And Batman, of course, Batman spaghetti. Yeah. All right.
All right, Zam, you look very tired. We're an hour
Well,
in.
we're doing a bit of time travel, and that's always gonna fucking spaghetti my fucking brain. So.
Well, I mean, not that I want to. I mean, Mage, not that I want to blow past your notes because I know you worked hard taking notes. But I mean, it's like it is kind of just your reality bending episode where they try to figure out what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It doesn't. The blow by blow would be kind of extraneous at this point.
Yeah,
we've kind of given it a overview already.
Yeah, and I mean,
go
ahead.
Is there anything that anybody else just really has in their craw about that's sticking in their craw about this one?
This mini Q is psychotic. Like, I mean, for some reason, he wants to be a wedding planner, and all of this shit. By the way, I love the way he was trolling Chapel's boyfriend, the real boyfriend. Yeah, that was brilliant, by the way, and how he's treating him and stuff like that. And it was funny in that particular aspect. But he was fucking nuts because once he never got his way, he was gonna fucking kill everyone. Thank God for fucking Papa Q that came down out of nowhere to save the fucking day and give everyone their memory back, and then everyone got drunk and started to party. And
I did like that ending. I thought that ending was fun.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun where he's like, Pike just gets on stage and he's like, well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess Federation Day. Like he's being all awkward and stuff. And I'm like, this is actually kind of funny, and I like it. I like the way they're ending this, and then everyone's like, yeah. And at the end, he's just like, you know what? Bar's open. I'll be like, that's exactly how I would have handled that. I would have been like, well, everybody, bar's open. Have fun.
But I'm gonna get straight to the very, very end. Like Ortega, like, has she been infected? because, or is she suffering from PTSD? I mean, I don't know. Like, she never really wanted to join in on the party too much, and she went back into training. And then you see in the reflection of herself in the window, a Gorn. Is it PTSD? Is she
That's
infected? Is
how
she
I
Gorny?
interpreted it.
Yeah, I mean, who
I
knows?
just hope we're not going the route of what the security officer from Discovery season 2, when like he was like changed genetically or fused genetically
Oh,
with a Klingon.
Tyler.
Yeah. So like he was, you know what I mean? Like I hope we're not doing that where like she's got Gorn DNA and now she's like a sleeper agent or something. You know what I mean? I don't want that. I think that's a horrible idea for Ortega's. If it's PTSD, I'm happy. Like if it's an allegory on how to deal with PTSD, yes. But we've kind of already got that with La'an.
Oh, and I'm sorry for jumping all over the place, but they really made nothing out of Ortega's his brother and Uhura having
Give it
a
time.
little.
There's a
They're
whole
setting that up
season.
for later.
You
Yep,
think
give
so?
it some time.
I thought that guy was gonna fuck off after the wedding, you know, but no.
Well, and then they've also
I
got
thought-
the new assistant in sickbay who I can't tell. Are they trying to ship Mbega and him, or are they just like I got mixed vibes from that. Like Mbega was
Oh.
really into him.
well,
Maybe he's just
no,
into
but
it professionally. I don't know.
I'm just saying regarding the brother thing, like, you know, because they're on a like a space station, so to speak. I can understand him paying her a visit, but once they leave that station, she's going to be going back to work, and he obviously can't stay. That's what I assumed. So I didn't. That's why I thought the moment with her and Uhura was fleeting. You know, with him and Uhura was fleeting, and unless he stays on the Enterprise, yeah. Gorn can track their baby through time space. That's one of the reasons they infect people, so they can track them across space to their home. What do they use? What do they use? The fucking Force.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. Like is that what they said last season? I don't remember.
No, but then sorry, I take that back, because then again, I did say that they have like a sort of organic engineering, so maybe there is a way of them figuring out that we just can't comprehend.
They're digging too deep. They're digging too deep on that with the Gorn.
Maybe they marked Ortega and using it as a tracking device. Oh, fair enough.
I'm just saying. I think we're going to have some problems this season. I think me and Paramount are going to have some beef.
Well, look, regarding this episode, there was a level of comedy that I thought was just about right. It was still a mystery, and there was still a sense of danger. I don't want them to get too comedic like they did last season. I think there were too many comedy episodes last season, and then it was like one extreme to the other. You know, then you have fucking Benega's old Klingon guy he ended up killing and shit. Like, it was really one extreme to the other. So I don't want them going down that route again. You know, have your whimsical, funny moments, I guess, but have a decent balance. I would like more episodes to be more straight laced, and I like the comedy to be more fleeting. That you remember those moments because they were comical, than actually having everything so comical for the sake of it.
I really liked the touch of the music and the dancing that they did, and even though
Wham.
Yeah, all that retro, that really extremely retro music they played. I was waiting for Miley Cyrus to come on.
You know what's and that's the thing
Ancient
is
artist Miley Cyrus.
I completely get music that we can relate to, that we know in our time, and that it's 200 years from now. Apparently, they still have or play it, and it's classical music. And just think about that. Like our music today is going to be considered classical music in the future and still play, just like, you know, I mean, we still play Beethoven and, you know, whatever else. But it's just odd knowing that that's how our music is going to be referred to.
Fucking the Kelvin universe had the Beastie Boys as classical music. Yeah, I mean, but I love that song. I love the video. Oh, it's so great, man. That's just such a great tune.
So yeah, I was happy with it. I can do it. I can go for music we know today being played on Star Trek.
And even then, like that song by Wham was it's still like an old school song, even for us. That's a full 40
Right,
years.
A
yeah.
little bit of a throwback. A little
Yeah,
bit.
It's even old for us.
yeah.
Cheeto, do you have
Um,
anything about this one that's just really sticking in your craw after we read this comment from Daniel Vance?
Star Trek
Tim?
Star Trek and Foundation on air at the same time. I could not be more happy a sci-fi fan. I'll peak next month with Alien Earth Foundation. I don't know what that is, but I'll tell you what.
That's a series he's been talking about for a while.
I might give that Black Mirror a shot. By the way, Daniel wants. I'm thinking about
Black
it.
Mirror's excellent. Check
Black
that
Mirror.
out.
Yeah,
So I mean,
Surprised you haven't already been watching it.
yeah. I'll give it a go.
nothing much has really stuck out to me in this episode. Again, it's kind of your standard run of the mill shenanigan alien entity taking over episode. Nothing really was that bad about it. I didn't like the fart the fart spacey look of Q. When has he ever shown up like that? Like they only did that so like, oh, Q can be here because they've never seen him like this before. There's no document of Q before, so this is why John Delancey can be here. I'm like, I honestly feel like they should have had him show up looking like somebody different, maybe, or something like that. And then like later on, like maybe right before the credits hit, it shows him and Tulane standing there, and then he snaps and he brings himself back into his normal, John Delancey look, and he's like, listen, I need you to stop doing this stuff. They're not supposed to see me until Picard. Picard is supposed to be my first. Like, just being very meta about it. You know what I mean? Like, Picard's supposed to be my first. I cannot have much contact prior to Picard to the humans. Just some meta stuff like that or something. I think that would have been better than just him being a orc cloud, like that kind of like flies around.
I mean, he can.
I think
they can do whatever the hell they want. They can do whatever they want.
I just thought it was a little. Yeah.
No, but saying that, knowing that it was John Delancey's voice, I think that makes people think, okay, all right, that's all I need to know what it is, what's going on. And he was not in human form, which gives you that aspect of him not showing up to Picard on the Enterprise.
I think showing his face, I think, would have been a little too extra. That would have been too much.
Yeah, couldn't you tell his voice, for fuck's sake? We have to show his face as well.
Well, that's
exactly.
But that's why I said that he needs to be meta about it. Like, don't be like, he needs to be very meta and just be like, that they're not supposed to see me until Picard, at Farpoint. Like, I can't come and bail you out every single time you screw something up, blah, blah. Like something like that,
I'll give you that if he remains in cloud form. Then maybe that'd be cool. If he says that in cloud form
was just a...
Anyway,
I think they're just
adds more to the mystique.
They're appeasing the old school fans, making the non-corporeal being look just like they did in TOS.
Right.
A continuation of iRobot. Okay,
Daniel,
cool.
Daniel, are you really trying to make me not watch this shit?
The movie of iRobot was awful. The novel of iRobot is amazing.
Well, fair enough.
It's peak classic sci-fi. So they butchered that one.
Okay, Danny, I'll give it a go.
All right, do we want to do some marks and ride into the sunset?
Yep, I'm putting up the poll now.
Poll now. You do that. We'll start once again with Zam on marks. Final thought, if you'd like.
I didn't dislike this episode. I didn't love this episode, but I don't want to necessarily overly critique this episode. If I give it something like an 8, I feel like I'm being way too generous. But if I give it a 7, I feel like I'm being, in a way, not generous enough. And I don't like doing halves. I did have fun with this episode. I did have fun with this episode. So regardless of how silly at times it got, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of too much comedy in my Star Trek, I did have fun with it. So I'll give it an 8. I liked it. I'm being very generous.
Okay, Big J.
An 8. Yep, I can give this one an 8.
Excellent, Cheeto.
I'm gonna give this one also a 7. Again, it was okay. I wasn't blown away, but yeah, And just Nurse Chapel, like, again, I just don't like her. Like, I'm just the way she just abuses Spock is just unforgivable in my opinion. And granted, Spock puts himself out there like that because he's the one kind of hanging around, but still, I'm like, Nurse Chapel knows what she's doing.
Have you ever met women?
This is true, but I'm trying not to be like that guy right now.
Okay.
Spock has become the Kirk of this series, man. That guy is just a chick magnet because I swear to God, Sung is all over him. She wants a bit of those pointy ears. I'm telling you. You know what I mean?
I think they might go that way with it. I think you're onto something there.
What I mean, that's the thing, is that like that speech at the end, that wasn't like she was in love with Corbin, like, and that's what broke her out of it. No, that speech from Spock broke her out of it because of that like emotional attachment between the two of them. So that's why I'm just like, God, you guys know what you're doing. It's frustrating.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that circles me back around to.
But
we're not new to this, man.
I know, but I do like the idea of La'an and Spock, not narratively, but I love the actress who plays La'an. So I am always a fan of like the guy who gets abused by the girl winding up with somebody better. You know what I mean?
Not Sun. Sorry,
Soon.
Sing.
Whatever.
Sing. It's Sing.
Noonien
Sing.
Yeah.
Sing. Sorry. Say Noonien Sing.
Sing.
I have to say Noonien before it, otherwise I say soon. Like, because
I keep saying I keep thinking Sun, but it's Sing. Yeah.
Yeah, Noonien Sing. So, I'm always a fan, and I think honestly Noonien Sing would be better. La'an would be better for Spock than, even though yes, it totally blows canon way out the window. And
no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I mean, Spock never mentioned about, being.
He never said anything about a black sister or a half brother.
Yeah, that's true.
Spock doesn't say shit to anyone about anything.
That's true. I mean, it could just be he just is very secretive.
Like I said, I kind of stopped giving a fuck, So yeah, so just as long as I enjoy the show, I think Leonard Nimoy even mentioned it about the canon thing. There's a famous thing he said, rest in peace, regarding canon, but I think he was more about just enjoy the show. So that's what I tend to do.
Spock could run through the whole ship getting laid by every female officer, and it would not break canon. Because there's not anything that he did or said in TOS that would contradict that. It's established how
much of a whore Spock is.
There's that, and also how he's not forthcoming really with anything. I mean, that's just he kisses and doesn't tell.
Even Peck, I mean, Spock himself, a good-looking man. He's a respectable person and reliable. All of that shit, honorable. No wonder the girls are gonna fucking want to fall for him. You know what I mean? Dude, he ticks all the fucking boxes.
You know why Spock served on the Enterprise for like 80 years? Because he was getting laid all the time. He was a chick on that ship.
Yeah, pun firing like a motherfucker.
Yeah, right. Every 7 years you have to. Doesn't mean that only every 7 years you do.
Yeah.
Think about that, folks. And on that note,
we'll get Mage's rating and we'll get an outro going. So I'm going to also give it a 7. I feel like the 8's just a little bit too generous for me on this one. It's one of those. There's a few too many points where Spock's played for laughs or for extreme like sad maudlin kind of moments. So I feel like we're getting a little bit of that season 2 tonal all over the place again.
He's becoming a bigger character than Pike, in my opinion.
He is. He's becoming the star of the show.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, that's been our review of season 3 episodes 1 and 2 of Strange New Worlds, Star Trek I want to thank my co-hosts, Cousin Cheeto, Zam, and Jefferson Big J Kelly for being here with us tonight. Oh, and of course, Big Ben Cisco in the corner. Hey, I have to have him with us now. What do we have coming down the pipe for this weekend, boys? What can these folks watch on NerdTube coming up soon?
Next week's review.
Next week's review. Wow,
That's all
okay.
I know. Well, I mean, I think Zambi, are you watching anything currently, or?
Unfortunately, at the top of my head, I can't think of anything. Is there any shows coming out upcoming? I'm not 100% sure, but if there is anything that I personally might tickle my fancy, I'll definitely get on it. But we can be kind of spontaneous at times. Just earlier on today, there was a trailer for Mortal Kombat 2, the movie that is, and the reaction to that. So you guys can check that out. But here at NerdTube, if there's anything of interest for us, we'll definitely review it. And at the same time, we're happy just to come online and talk about whatever it may be that is making the news in entertainment.
There's plenty of reasons to hit that subscribe button, smash the bell icon so you get all of our stuff in your sub box.
The emissary says to.
Got to do what the emissary says. So, from all of us, live long and prosper. You've been watching NerdTube, the best social media